Yo, what's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? We back for another week of Just a Fan Podcast. Tonight's show, we got it's another good one. We are talking contract, franchise tag, and the combine. So let's go and get started. I am quarter host, the Wildcat quarterback that runs this thing, the NFL Encyclopedia, Coach Williams. In that direction, the man that's the defensive play caller, the hardest hitter ever, Panel 316. What's up, man?
I hit hard with my words.
Yeah. Jameson,
What up, Johnny? What up, man? What up?
All right, y'all. So basically we're gonna start. Okay, so we're gonna start off with some combine talk. If y'all have any, well, first, if you in, please hit the thumbs up like button. Share this with your folks on both the Facebook side and the YouTube side. If you happen to be watching from Twitter, just retweet it on your page. But let's get started with the combine talks. If y'all, like I said, if you have any questions, ask us. E, is any body in the combine you would like to start with? Maybe a DB or something?
Well, and like I said, we're gonna go into as we get closer to the draft. We're gonna talk a little bit more about it. But there are a lot of people. I just want to say this about the combine: it's the underwear Olympics. Okay,
true.
There are a lot of players that people are excited about. I see people talking on social media about because they had a great combine, and then they got some guys that they're down on because they didn't have a great combine. I like to remind everybody, just because someone has a great combine does not mean they will have a great career. There are some people who have had phenomenal throughout the history of the combine and the NFL, had great combine workouts and had mid to horrible careers. You've had people who nobody's paid attention to. What up, Jael? There are some people that nobody's paid attention to because they had a mid to below average combine workout, but turned out to be stars. So is it important to have the combine? Absolutely. That, but we have to look at people get enamored by 40 times. And it's like, oh man, he ran 4.3 this. Okay, but that's how fast you can run in a straight line. The NFL is not a track meet. There's a lot of folks that can run a straight line but have no lateral movement. Before we went on the other night, we were talking about the 3-cone drill, the short shuttle. That really shows your change of direction, how quickly you can change direction. We were talking about the 10-yard split in the 40, which is actually more important than the 40 because the first couple of steps is what really matters. How fast can you get out of your stance and move?
Yes.
The actual drills, especially for defensive backs, the actual drills that they run are really important.
Yes.
And then finally, what we don't see at the combine is the actual game film. You put on film, some guys play faster than they clock.
Yes.
Some guys play slower than they clock. Because at the end of the day, you got to put those pads on.
Yes.
And you got to get hit. So we're going to go more in depth, and we'll answer your questions if you have any about
any particular football player.
Right, any particular player, just to let you know we broke it down between the 4 members of Just a Fan podcast. We apologize. Steve is not here tonight, has not been, because he's moonlighting at the Thermostat Dad Bod Strip Club. He has not washed off all the baby oil or the glitter off yet. So, what did Jerry Rice run again? Jerry Rice ran like a 4.7 somewhere up in there, and wound up being the greatest wide receiver in the history of the game. Still is. People still can't break his records. So, yes, 40s matter, but don't put so much stock into them. But
John Ross 4.22.
Right. But what I'm saying is we're breaking down the draft prospects in the coming weeks. We're gonna really go in depth with it. Brandon is covering everybody in the front 7, all the defensive linemen and linebackers. I will be covering wide receivers and defensive backs. I've already been just racking my brain looking at film, breaking down film, rewinding and all that. Steve, when he gets off the pole, will be covering we'll be covering running backs and offensive linemen.
And tight ends.
Steve is gonna want to fight me after this. Like I told you, I said every time you're not on the show, every time you miss, I'm gonna clown you, man. But Steve will be covering offensive linemen and
running backs and tight ends.
Running backs and tight ends. Tristan has the toughest job. Tristan, who we might see later on tonight if he can make it. If he has enough melatonin, we might see Tristan tonight. But Tristan has the hardest job. He'll be evaluating quarterbacks. That's why we just give just the quarterbacks to Tristan, because there's so much to look at with quarterbacks.
Yes, it is.
But we can field any questions that you guys might have. Any questions that you might have about particular players in the combine, or who you'd like to see, or where you'd like to see them go, or who you thought had a great workout. Let's go. Also, we're going to get into talking about some of these transactions that have happened within the last 48 hours that are really interesting.
Yes.
Some of these deals are really good deals for the team and the player. Some of these teams, not so much. Some of these deals, not so much for the team or not so much for the player.
Hey.
So some people got overpaid. Some people got just what they need. Some people, the team got over on the player. It just depends. So, but I'm gonna tell you right now, if you want to talk about somebody who just really jumped out at me, and nobody is really paying attention to this young man, and honestly, as a Niners fan, I hope nobody pays attention to him and he falls all the way to the 3rd round. And that's Sidney Brown, safety out of Illinois. Everybody's talking about Brian Branch. Brian Branch this and Brian Branch that, and rightfully so. Brian Branch is a great player. He comps to Micah Fitzpatrick. Antonio Johnson out of Texas A&M. Now, some people do have Sidney Brown kind of high, but then they got him kind of low. You got Jordan Battle, the other safety from Alabama, Jamie Robinson from Florida State, the Christopher Smith from Georgia, J.L. Skinner from Boise, he's a hitting machine, but I'm not really impressed with his film. Jair Brown from Penn State. But when I tell you Sidney Brown comps to me like a Chauncey Gardner Johnson. He's a guy who can play the deep middle. He's a guy you can stick in the box and is going to stick his head in the play and be extremely aggressive and make those tackles. Or in a pinch, he can actually cover the slot. He is, and then I'm looking at his film before the combine, and I'm like, okay, he's just jumping off the screen at me. But also when he got to the combine, what was really impressive was the fact that he ran like, I think, a 4.48, something in that range. And I'm like, whoa. Because I'm looking at him, I think, he's a 4.5 guy, mid 4.5s, but then he ran like a 4.4. That's when you start to look at the 40 yard dash numbers and like, okay, wait a minute. I look at that after I look at film. That's basically how I kind of evaluate, you know. But, you know, a lot of people who are low on him. I don't know why. Some people call him an average backup or a special team, and I'm sitting up here like, what are y'all looking at? What film are you looking at? I'm sorry, 4.47. That's what he ran. With a 1.5 yard split. 40 foot vertical. 40 inch vertical, excuse me. But and yeah, I'm just really excited about that player. I think he's a sleeper. I think he could be fantastic. Okay. So let's go to some of these comments. Brandon.
So basically we got some
Yes. Go ahead. Go ahead. What you were saying, Brandon. But yes, I agree with DJ Kanye. Let's go ahead. But go ahead and say what you were saying. We can.
All right. So basically, yeah, because we got some talk now about pro players. Daniel Jones overpaid. Somebody else above that said, I'm not gonna post it because of the word, but the Giants are messing up. Yes. Daniel Jones getting paid $40 million a year with incentives to go another $35 million total is messing up. He's overrated. He was overrated before Brian Daboll got there. Brian Daboll made him look better than what he is. So, yeah, you franchise tag Saquon Barkley. I know you're trying to keep the two together, but I would have paid Saquon Barkley and just let Daniel Jones walk in. I would have gotten a compensatory pick for 2024, which could have been a third or fourth round pick. But, you know, whatever. Giant, hey, me, okay? I'm a Cowboys fan. I know my team and I know my division. Snoop Dogg said it best on his song Gin and Juice #2. I keep my eyes on my enemies. You guys, the Giants brought back Daniel Jones. I can have a party right now. I can literally have a party right now. If I had the ability to, my fat high pops would do a backflip, front flip, and a cartwheel and do a split. Okay? Do you understand me?
Tag me in.
Hold on, wait. You guys keep a Daniel Jones for easily another 2 to 3 years.
Stone Cold wants to whoop some ass too. But tag me in.
Wait.
Tag me in.
Wait. 2 to 3 years. I got my Cowboys got you for another 2 to 3 years, Daniel Jones. Thank you. Thank you so very much. I'm going to enjoy it. Tag you in.
Hell, Stone Cold's in the ring now. So check it out, man. I always say this, and you're going to hear me say this a lot on this podcast. Beware of the contract year performance. That's any player.
Yes.
Any player.
Because remember, they didn't pick up that 5th-year option. They were questionable about him.
Buyer beware on the contract year.
Thank you.
There are a plethora of players who have played in this league and have been kind of mid or even bad. And the year when they know that contract is about to expire, they need to get a new deal. They play out of their mind.
But you know what? It wasn't even him playing out of his mind. It was Brian Daboll that made him look better than
No. I'm not disputing that.
I know. I'm just saying.
The scheme made him look really good. But
yeah.
Other than this year, what have we gotten from Daniel Jones?
Absolutely nothing. Matter of fact, I tell you what, I saw that his career, his win-loss record was 21-31-1. But if you think about it, 9 or 10 of those victories came this year. So if you don't include this year, man, his win-loss record is that win percentage is terrible.
It
is terrible.
Daniel Jones should go to prison for grand larceny.
Man.
And basically, the Giants front office needs to get in the cut face first for being that stupid. For those of y'all fraternity people, y'all know what I'm talking about. But like for real, like how do you pay Daniel Jones more
What do you
money
mean?
than the Saints paid Derek Carr?
Mm,
Make it make sense for him.
make it make sense, man. Hey, look,
It just
look,
does.
Eric. You know how you did something stupid and your mom just popped you upside the back of the head or just grabbed you by your ear? That's what needs to happen to all those Giants front office management.
So Brandon, do you think this is a bruh moment? That contract?
Oh, hold on. Wait a minute. Oh, we
Yeah.
got to do that again because it messed up. It
There's no
just
way you can
doesn't make
convince me.
sense.
There's no way you can convince me. No way at all. Like, bro, ain't no way. Ain't no way, bro. Ain't no way, boy.
Nope.
There's no way you can convince me that Daniel Jones is worth $82 million guaranteed at signing. Because that's what he got. And when you break down his contract, he is $82 million guaranteed at signing. $160 million. $40 million, bro. $40 million
A
a
year?
year. That's his average salary.
Now,
82.2 guaranteed at signing, man.
but the thing is now, granted, compared to other quarterback contracts, it is a bargain, and I will say that, but Daniel Jones is not worth $40 million. He's not worth getting paid more than Derek Carr. Derek Carr is a much better quarterback. I'll take Derek Carr over Daniel Jones any given Sunday.
Exactly. Like literally, you let him walk and you get into the Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes, or you try to make a play for Lamar Jackson or something. But Daniel Jones has not done enough to garner a contract like that.
Thank you.
And Giants fans about to be mad. They about to be mad.
And the thing is, they are going to literally have tape. They got a full year worth of tape. Now, the Giants can still add some weapons. Yes. And that may hang on for a good few games because it usually does. But I'm going to tell you something. Thanksgiving 2023, y'all come talk to me about the New York Giants. Thanksgiving. And the reason why I say Thanksgiving is because Thanksgiving is week 12 generally in the NFL. They're going to have so much film. We're going to see what the Giants look like by then. Come see me Thanksgiving 2023, and we're going to go back and talk about this Daniel Jones contract, and we're going to see how pissed off all these Giants fans are.
Doctor, I'm going to tell you, like, because I was noticing the excitement that you had when, as a Cowboy fan, your division rival signed a quarterback that is not very good, had just one good year in his entire career and got signed for a whole lot of money. I share that same excitement as I segue because one of my team's division rivals signed a lackluster quarterback for a 3-year deal.
Geno Smith.
Yes.
Now,
I
will say this though. It's only 3 years, and they paid him less than Derek Carr. So they were kind of smart on that part. Now, on that part, I will give them that.
Financial side of it, yes.
Yes. But just like Daniel Jones, they are going to have tape on him, man. And again, come see me Thanksgiving 2023. We're going to talk about that.
So here's the thing. So here's the thing, Brandon. It ain't even about having tape. Like, okay, I'm gonna use Daniel Jones for example. I'm gonna switch to Geno Smith. Who won the NFC East this year?
Philadelphia.
Who are the two teams in NFC East that made the playoffs?
Philadelphia and Dallas.
What was the Giants' record against those teams?
I know we beat them both times. I'm sure Philadelphia probably beat them both times. So
here's my point. You don't need no damn film. You already whooping their tail. So let me talk about Geno Smith. Who won the NFC West?
San Francisco.
How many times did the whole season, regular season and postseason, how many times the Seahawks played the 49ers?
They played each other 3 times.
How many times Seahawks won?
They win what? They won a tire.
How many times they won against the 49ers this year?
Donut.
We don't need no damn film on Geno Smith. That's why I'm as excited about you as me being a Niners fan. I'm just as excited about you all about Daniel Jones staying in New York as I am about Geno Smith staying in Seattle. I'm like, ain't nobody checking for Geno Smith.
Well, I tell you what, then
Like,
Eric.
They wrote me off. I ain't right back. No, man, we never picked up a pen.
Eric,
Because you're not worth it.
Guess what? You and I can do our own movie called House Party. We call it a football house party.
Man, look.
To celebrate.
So don't. Fine, you're gonna pay Geno Smith, and you think you're finna win with that? You didn't. How did that work for you? Like Pete Carroll and John Schneider. Like, how did that work for you? Dayball and I forgot who GM for the Giants is, but how did that work for you? Didn't they both get first round exits? No, I'm sorry. The Giants did win. Didn't they win the first round?
They beat Minnesota.
They beat Minnesota. That's not saying much.
Yeah, because Minnesota's overrated.
They were extremely overrated this year.
Yeah, their offense consists of Justin Jefferson and Dalvin Cook, and now TJ Hawkinson.
Yeah, so I mean, he won one playoff game. Let's throw the bag at him. What the hell is wrong with y'all? Geno Smith couldn't win you a playoff game. But let's throw him $32 million and give him a 3-year deal.
Nah.
I do have a little respect for John Schneider. I think they're going to probably draft a project quarterback. And he's going to be like just right there on Geno's heels. Because, like, bro, ain't nobody shaking for Geno Smith.
You know what? That's a plan because Geno's going to probably be there for 2 years, which means that first year, the project quarterback, let's say it's Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson would sit, learn how to read a defense, work on his footwork, his mechanics, and everything. That following year, it can be an open quarterback competition, and Geno might end up on the bench.
I can tell you right now, if he freaks out and gets PTSD like he does against a good pass rush, yeah, he's gonna be on the bench soon because he plays his worst football when there's a pass rush in his face.
But if Seattle does draft someone like Anthony Richardson, you can't. Geno Smith, you're gonna have to play the entire season.
No. If it's a project quarterback,
he's not ready. He's not ready yet.
Right. But I think he's a raw prospect, and I pray to God he goes to a team that has some sense and
patience.
They need to develop him. He has all of the physical tools that you need, but he's raw.
Yes.
And I think that if he goes to the right team, then that's got common sense. It's like, okay, do not throw him out there yet.
No, of course not.
Yeah, I know what he did at Florida, but that's great. But this is the NFL.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's get to some comments.
Hold on. I put this up a minute ago. I don't think it's going to be Lamar Jackson to the Jets because the Jets front office / coaching staff is flying out to California. They flew out to California earlier today to speak with Aaron Rodgers, and they're trying to, get some parameters going for maybe a trade with Green Bay and maybe a new contract with Aaron Rodgers. So I do not see Lamar Jackson going to the Jets.
Not to mention the cap situation in the Jets is kind of dire, even with the adjustments.
Yep.
Because Aaron Rodgers is not going to play for peanuts.
Right. Y'all think Tom Brady going to stay retired? He needs to. Yeah. I know there was rumors saying that he might come out of retirement. I saw a rumor that Phillip Rivers might come out of retirement.
So let me get this one. Let me get this one, Brandon. Because most of the rumors about Brady coming out of retirement is surrounding San Francisco. And that will be the worst mistake the franchise has ever made. Period. Because first of all, everybody that's talking about, oh yeah, we get Brady. Did you watch him play this year? I mean, it looked like he was shot putting the football. That's how bad. And then he's lost a lot of velocity on the ball. He's lost a lot of accuracy. Dallas ate him for lunch in that playoff game. And no, It's like he knows at this point that he don't have it no more. Stop calling that man house talking about, hey, you want to come out of retirement and mess up our team for the year? Because that's literally what you calling for him to do. Like Tom Brady need to stay at the house. Go get on somebody TV network because he knows a lot about football. And I think he'd be a great analyst. And I think he would be unbiased too, which is missing a lot with some analysts nowadays. Let him be on TV in a suit with a mic. Please, please stop with the Tom Brady stuff. This dude is washed. He's the GOAT, but he's washed. It's time for him to go sit down somewhere. Like for real. I'm tired of people talking about that because all he gonna do wherever he goes, he gonna mess up somebody's team because he ain't got it no more. I put it like,
Call Vice City Furniture and order yourself a couch.
Man, look, I keep thinking about Rocky IV, right before Apollo Creed fought Ivan Drago and got killed. They was sitting at Rocky house watching the film of them two boxing. It was Rocky and Apollo sitting in his living room. They watching the fight and everything. And Rocky's like, champ, I mean, I'm looking at that right now, but that ain't us no more. We can't do that no more, champ. That's what somebody need to be telling Tom Brady instead of calling him, talking about, hey, you want to come mess up our team? You want to come mess up our chances of getting to us? And I don't want to hear this foolishness about, hey, man, the team was bad. BS. Julio Jones is Asian, but he's still good. Mike Evans is still a dog. Okay, you had a really good young running back. Okay, the offensive line wasn't as good as it used to be. The defense was still solid. You sound like a top half of the league in defense. I want to hear about the team was bad, and that's why Brady. Stop making excuses for Tom Brady.
Thank you.
He's the greatest quarterback to have ever played, but he is done.
Yes.
I'm tired of people making excuses for this man.
He's done.
Tom Brady this, Tom Brady that. No, stop it. Next comment, because I go all day about talking about Tom Brady.
All right, this one's a little interesting, and this one is definitely dealing with my team. I saw today that Dallas might be looking at possibly trading for DeAndre Hopkins for a second-round draft pick. He was in Dallas today working out with Dez. Do y'all think he will be a good addition to the wide receiver core, or should they try to pick a wide receiver in the draft over a trade? Thank you, Carl Stewart, for your question.
Go ahead.
All right, so actually, let me correct a little something. D-Hop been in Dallas for a while. He was working out with Dez last week as well. I know that Michael Gehlken and Brian Broaddus have said that Dallas is working on something big because they want to add juice to their offense. DeAndre Hopkins would add juice to the offense. I heard that D-Hop could go for a second-round pick. Actually, the latest rumor that I've heard about D-Hop is that Arizona has trade parameters in place where you can trade for a second-round pick, but you may also have to give up either a conditional pick or a player. So if you give up a conditional pick, that sounds like something that wouldn't happen until 2024 because conditional means that it has something to do with on-field performance or playing time. So that has to happen this year, which means you get a conditional pick in 2020, the following year, which would be 2024. Could Dallas do it? Possibly. I'm not sure because Dallas hasn't made the last big move or big contract Dallas has signed is more so big contract was Brandon Carr, but that was like 2012. So it's been a long time. He'd be a great addition to the wide receiver core because let's be honest, it's Nuke Hopkins. Should they take him or draft one? There's not a receiver that's going to be in the second round available for Dallas that's going to be better than Nuke Hopkins. So I would take Nuke over a second round receiver this year.
Okay, so let me chime in on this. All right, here's the issue with that, and this is me again taking off my fan hat, being an analyst. So in 2023, Hopkins is scheduled to make $19.4 million. In 2024, he's scheduled to make $14.9 million. right now, with the adjustments, the Cowboys are still $16 million over the cap.
That is true.
Now I know you can move money around. There's a lot of teams that's dumping a lot of salaries and restructuring and getting stuff like that. But honestly, and I'm looking at receivers right now, because I'm supposed to be scouting receivers for our getting ready for our draft productions for this show. There are some receivers that Dallas will get. One, you get the talent. Two, you don't pay as much money.
I get that.
A rookie salary. And with Schottenheimer being the offensive coordinator now, you can develop that talent. Because here's the thing, you're not looking for a Batman.
No, that's true.
You're looking for Robin. And as long as CeeDee Lamb is over there drawing coverage like that, and you got somebody that can come in and I'm going to throw a number out. Get about 700 yards receiving and roughly 5-6 touchdowns. That's really all you need.
That is true. I think Dallas, and I get what you're saying. I respect, and look. I'm not against what you're saying, but Dallas. There's the thing. Jerry Jones is still looking for a Super Bowl ring before he dies. He's 81, I believe, going to turn 82 this summer. I think he needs to look around the conference. Forget the division. He needs to look around the conference. The two best teams in the conference were San Francisco and Philadelphia. In my opinion, Dallas is the third best team.
I agree with that.
I'm expecting Philadelphia to take a step back because I feel like they're going to lose too many defensive players, one. And two, you're not getting 85 sacks again this year like you did last year. A lot of your sacks came against teams that had terrible quarterbacks on the field at the time. Okay?
I mean, you still got to play Daniel Jones, so that's 2 wins. I'm just... Go ahead, man. Go ahead. I'm clowning. Go ahead.
I know you are. But, and see, Philadelphia plays a first-place schedule this year, which makes things even harder. So I'm expecting them to lose players. You play a much harder schedule. I don't see how fast you can replace those lost players. I mean, yeah, you got the draft. I get that, but I just feel like it's going to be too much for Philadelphia. I think Dallas could win the division this year, and their biggest competition just might end up being San Francisco. And the way that defense plays San Francisco, minus maybe a couple plays, played pretty well.
Yeah, and the majority of the stars in San Francisco, no, not the majority, all the stars are coming back. All of those guys are under contract. Fred Warner, Nick Bosa's in his last year, his deal. They're going to probably extend him this year.
Right.
Debo Samuel's under contract.
Right.
George Kittle's under contract.
Trent Williams under contract. Right. So
Eric Armstead. So the only players that San Francisco is really losing this offseason, or potentially, I ain't going to say losing because they could get re-signed, are ancillary guys and role players, which can be filled with draft picks.
Exactly.
And San Francisco got 11. I know you're like, well, San Francisco going to pick in the first and the second round, but if you really look at San Francisco, the majority of their best players were late round guys or undrafted guys. They have a knack for draft. I feel more comfortable with San Francisco drafting from the third round back than I do a lot of times drafting in the first and second round. They hit on guys late in the draft more than they hit on guys. It's like Elijah Mitchell's a 6th rounder.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? George Kittle was a 5th rounder.
Yep.
All pro.
Yep.
You know, so you know, not to get off on a tangent here, but if Dallas could win that division,
go back to that game, that playoff game against San Francisco, like the offense was relying on 3 players. It was Dak, Pollard, and CeeDee Lamb. And once Pollard went down, it was pretty much over with. So if Dallas wants to try to get past San Francisco in the playoffs, because I think that's what's going to have to take to get either to the NFC Championship game or to the Super Bowl,
Oh, absolutely.
Dallas may just have to trade for Nuke Hopkins and do. I mean, you may have to do what you have to do, is what I'm saying.
So basically, like sell your soul.
Yes, but you know what? You're selling your soul, but you're not selling your soul like the Rams did. You're not selling your soul like Philadelphia did because
oh my God, don't get me started talking about the Rams.
I know. We're not getting there. We're not going there because we ain't got time tonight. But it's only one move, and if it's only one move, I would do it. I would do it because you got it. Like I said, I feel like Philadelphia's going to take a step back.
Okay.
No.
I agree with that. If unless they can pull a rabbit out their head and get a lot of these players back, I think Philly's going to take a step.
Yeah,
back.
And trust me. I'm trying to hold on. Let me just finish up real quick. I'm trying to keep my emotions out of it. I think Philadelphia takes a step back. I
don't think you're being emotional about that. I agree with that, and I don't have a dog in the fight in the East. I don't care who come out the East, as long as we beat them. But
but we need to get past San Francisco to get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
and you got to make that one move. And if it's bringing in Nuke Hopkins, then do so, please.
Okay, so let's get to some of these other comments because like I'm seeing some stuff on the YouTube side. It's some
I am. Trust me, let's get into it now.
It's starting to turn back into a viewer's choice show, but I don't mind because I love
it too.
Yeah.
What's your better fit for Lamar Jackson, Raiders or Jets? I already
said Ravens.
No, Raiders. He said Ravens. I already said that the Jets are not going to bring in Lamar Jackson. I think it's going to probably end up being Aaron Rodgers, and Green Bay's going to start over at quarterback with Jordan Love. So I don't know if the Raiders have the cap space to bring in Lamar because you have to. They would have to let go of Chandler Jones.
Well, no. The Raiders do have $39 million under. And then they can also do some restructuring and some stuff, and they could.
Now, but my question is, and I know he had Tim Tebow on the team. Can Josh McDaniels work with Lamar Jackson?
Wait, say that again. I'm sorry.
Can he work with Lamar Jackson?
Can who?
Josh McDaniels.
No. Here's the thing. Since we're talking about the Raiders, honey, I hope you're watching. We're talking about the Raiders. You know who the best fit for the Raiders is?
I know where he's going.
He ain't got to move that far. Come on, Brandon. Who's the best fit at quarterback for the Raiders?
Oh God! Don't. He's gonna say Jimmy Garoppolo.
That is. Where did Jimmy Garoppolo get drafted?
New England, where Josh McDaniels was when he was offensive coordinator. He knows the offense now, but to me, that's only a bridge quarterback.
Oh no! I agree. No. I agree. You bring him in for like a 2-year deal.
And to me, you're wasting time for Devontae Adams being there, man.
Man, Devontae Adams, right, hey, man, I'm ready to go.
But the thing about it is, though, if Aaron Rodgers ends up with the Jets, there's no other quarterback really worth bringing in.
And that's my point. That's the point I'm making. Because if Aaron Rodgers decides to go to New York, then the most logical next step for the Raiders will be in Josh McDaniels' Raiders is to bring in Jimmy Garoppolo. And they're going to rue the day that they let Derek Carr walk. They released Derek Carr. Because Jimmy Garoppolo is about to prove me right. Oh, he about to prove me so right about him. Oh, he's a winner. He don't talking about Jimmy Garoppolo, okay? When I keep telling you he went along for the ride, all them games we won, he didn't drive the car. He was in the backseat eating chips.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, but he knows the offense. If he's going to have any measure of success, it's going to be in that offense.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, so I will give you that.
But that was a good comment. Let's go to another one because this is getting good.
New Orleans Saints, Richardson or Hooker. I'm assuming he's asking about Hendon Hooker or Anthony Richardson.
As a project quarterback, I guess, because you already got Derek Carr. But here's
Yeah,
the thing: why would you want him?
both of them will be back up starting off. Let me put it, DJ. Let me put it to you this way, Jair. If you bring in Anthony Richardson, because I'm not familiar with Hooker. I mean, I know he had a good year at Tennessee.
That's why Tristan need to be on here.
But Richardson, if you draft Richardson, number one, you need to be patient. Number two, you need to thoroughly develop him to be the quarterback you think he can be. Because if not, you're gonna ruin and waste. You're gonna waste his career. Yes, he ran a 4.4 at the combine. Yes, that man can throw 60 yards with no problem. Jamarcus Russell can throw a football. Kyle Bowler can throw a football. Jeff George can throw a football. Ryan Leaf can throw a football. But if you don't work on your footwork, your mechanics, the quick passing game, learn how to read a defense, learn how to place the ball where it needs to be, especially on certain throws, because certain throws are extremely hard. The ones that come that you got to throw to the receiver and he's going towards the sideline and you trying to drop that ball in there before he
lay ball.
That way he can Chris Carter his toes and catch the ball on the sideline. Yeah, and I said Chris Carter because Chris Carter was fantastic with that.
Over the linebackers, in front of the safeties, in the middle
of
the field. In the middle of the field. Those layered balls is what is, it's one thing you can throw on a frozen rope or you can chuck 60 yards down the field. Yeah. But the real skill comes from being able to layer those balls over that sounds so inappropriate.
Now
to layer those passes over the linebackers and in front of the safeties, or when you're facing the cover two, you're facing the cover two, and the corner is squatting and the safety's deep, and you're trying to put it in that 10 to 15 yards between that corner and that safety and drop it in there.
Yeah.
So, we digress, but to talk about drafting a project quarterback, there's nothing wrong with that. Derek Carr's contract in New Orleans is after the first 3 years, they could potentially get out of that contract.
Yes.
Let's say you bring in Derek Carr for 3 years, you draft like somebody like a Richardson. He sits for 3 years, and you go on out with Derek Carr. You go out, you get out of that contract. It's only gonna be about $11.4 million dead cap hit to void that contract, and then you go with Richardson. We don't know the future. We don't have a crystal ball. But what do you do if you turn around there and then draft a Richardson or a Hooker, and Derek Carr turns out to be just what the Saints needed? They back in they're considered one of the best teams in the NFC. They're Super Bowl contenders. Like, what do you do then? Do you trade this kid, which you may not you may not be able to regain the value that you used to draft him.
Right.
He's just sitting there, So what's because right now, I'm going to tell you right now, people are talking crazy, but I'm just using San Francisco for an example. People are like, oh, do you trade Trey Lance now that we got Brock Purdy? I'm like, you will never be able to recoup what San Francisco gave up in capital to get Trey Lance. You trade Trey Lance, you just lost on a deal. You wasted that capital. It depreciates. Those players depreciate, especially if they're not playing. Yes. So you draft a guy like a Richardson, let's say Derek Carr balls out, you can trade Richardson, but you will never recoup what you gave to get him. Well, it's going to be a first-round draft pick because he hasn't played, so he has no trade value. So that's the thing.
Yep.
So let's go with the next comment. That was a good one.
Joe, I addressed this earlier. I say yes. My reason was because Dallas needs to get past San Francisco. Where do y'all think Jamel Dean and James Bradbury will end up going?
That's a wide open. there's a wide open market right now. These guys depends on what they're asking for and what they're looking for. One or both of them might be like, I want to go back to a contender. Like Bradbury could re-sign in Philly. He could. Because they're considered contenders. So, or he may take less money to go to contender, or he may be looking for the bag. I don't know. So it's going to tell this free agency frenzy, because of what's really making this offseason interesting, is that teams that are trying to get cap space. So they're dumping people. They already got free agents. They're restructuring guys. I'm really looking at who's being released. It's really interesting because now it thickens the free agency pool.
Yes.
Whereas you had a couple of guys here and there, and now you got some guys that were good players, but they got released not because they suck. They just couldn't afford to pay them. Pay them, excuse me. And restructuring wouldn't help. It's kicking the can down the road. You're going to get bit in the butt later, 2 or 3 years from now, if you restructure that deal. So it's better to just release it. There are a lot of players that are getting released that are still good players. And you bring them into a 1 to 2 year deal, you got something to work with, So the sky's limit for especially for corners. Bradbury and Dean is very good. Very good.
I think Bradbury's overrated.
I don't think Bradbury is that good. In fact, I prefer Dean over Bradbury, honestly. But
matter of fact, there's a reason why Bradbury signed a 1 year prove it deal after being let go by the Giants. Bradbury might get a decent sized contract just because he was in Philadelphia this past year. But if you're a true general manager or /head coach, you would try your hardest to reject James Bradbury being on your team. I would reject James Bradbury coming to my team. I wouldn't have any interest. So and everybody else in those meetings can hoot and holler and all they want to. I would be like that Dallas Cowboy scout in 1998 that was standing on the table from Randy Moss and said, I want Randy Moss. I would stand on the table and say, I don't want James Bradbury. Look, listen.
Okay.
There are certain football players you stand on the table and you say yes. There are certain football players you stand on the table and you say no. You say no for James Bradbury.
Not no, but hell no.
You say no for Carson Wentz. Okay.
You say no for Eli Apple.
Because
somehow, some way, he gonna find his way on this podcast. We're gonna talk about Eli Apple, but for levity,
and he's a free agent.
Yeah, he's gonna be one of them.
Eli Apple's a free agent.
Somebody gonna give this guy a job. That's what drives me crazy. Somebody's going to give this man a job.
Eli Apple a job, please.
Somebody's going to
send him to the XFL.
Somebody's going to get this man a contract.
Job.
But to bring some levity to it and to be comedic about it, I don't want James Bradbury on my team because he don't know how to lie. He's like, yeah, I held him. I thought they were gonna let it go, but I held him. No, even if you did hold him, you shut up. Yeah, man, I just don't think it was a good call. That's what I would have said. I don't want somebody on my defense committing penalties and telling the truth about it. I don't. I'm just saying, Doc, you don't want that. This man up here, yeah, I did it. Hey, who? No, yeah, that's the person you don't want testifying for you in court. Well, see, they had told me to say that he didn't do it, but I saw him with the gun. And yeah. Shut up.
Lord have mercy.
Bradbury can't play for me because he don't know how to lie. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm sorry, dog. When I read that, first of all, they put all of that to bed. There was a big controversy about that. And no, he didn't hold. That was a ticky-tack call. Here come Bradbury. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
You know what? I was going to say something.
Hey, look, like that Rick James skit when he's talking. Hold on. He's like that Rick James skit when he's talking about, well, I ain't grind my feet in somebody's couch. Man, I got more sense than that. Yeah, I grind my feet in this couch. Yeah,
I did. I was going to say something, but it would have gotten our show canceled, so I'm not going there.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Listen. I'm telling you right now. I was this close to saying something out of my mouth, but I'm not trying to get us canceled, man.
Okay, well, let's go to the next comment. Let's go to the next viewer comment.
Eli Apple, Lord have mercy. Why
I'm talking about Bradbury. I was gonna leave Eli Apple alone. I'm talking about Bradbury.
Why is he in
Bradbury
the
don't know how to lie.
NFL? Why is he in the NFL?
Come on, man. Let's move on.
All right. I may have missed the conversation, but as far as the Texans go, do y'all believe they should draft either Bryce Young or CJ Stroud, or bring in a vet and go defensive at number 2?
Let me
no. Okay. So first, let me say that you did not miss the conversation, but E, go ahead.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that. Not yet.
Actually, that's a good question.
And we're gonna go more in depth with draft talk, but I'm gonna be honest. The best bet for Houston right now is to draft a project quarterback and go with a vet that knows the offense. Honestly, because you got to realize this offense that they're running is a Shanahan-based offense. Boast of your run game, boast of your offensive line, boast of more of your defense. The defense really wasn't that bad this year.
No, it wasn't.
It was actually a pretty good defense. D'Amico Ryans has got a lot to work with. He's got a ton of cap space, so he can go and get some guys that might have played for him in the past that are free agents now, not just from San Francisco, but from other teams that maybe played under him previously.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I go get a vet and then get a project quarterback. I get somebody who knows the offense and can basically play point guard, because that's how the offense is designed.
Yes.
It's not, the quarterback does not have to go out and go win me a game.
Right.
Now, granted, that being said, if you do your diligence and do your homework on these rookie quarterbacks and you feel like they can handle that offense and understand the nuances of that offense, because really it's got to be cerebral more than anything, and just where to distribute the ball at. But if you feel like you got a quarterback that can do that, then go ahead. But my advice would be go get you a project quarterback. Draft your project quarterback, bring in a vet for the first couple of years. Now you're getting some respectability these first couple of years, and then your youngsters ready to start on that third year. But it's a process. Houston is a process. Houston fans don't think y'all finna be just tearing the world up in 1 year. That's not finna happen.
No.
It is not going to happen.
Nope.
Can you get respectable this year coming? Absolutely. Will people respect you? Yeah, because of the division you're in. But don't expect like, oh yeah, we're finna be contenders nation. No, that's not gonna happen. It's a process. So, but yeah, that's what I think that they should do. Get your project quarterback. Go ahead and go defense. You really need what would be a project quarterback? Who would be a project quarterback?
Look, so basically, if Eric is saying go defense at number 2, it's almost any quarterback not named Bryce Young or CJ Stroud, because Tristan said that almost none of these other guys are even starters, especially right now. So
a lot of them have a lot of positive potential, but they need to be developed.
Right. So right, and the thing about the Houston Texans is that they draft high in round 2, so you can get a decent quarterback. I would look at probably even Hooker at number 2. I know he got hurt, but if he's not going to be starting year 1 because you brought in a veteran, matter of fact, you can almost bring in Jimmy Garoppolo, because he would know, because
he knows the offense.
He knows the offense. So Hooker can continue to get healthy. And Garoppolo's out there, and then Hooker's second year, continue to play. Maybe either halfway through the season or year 3, Hooker might be ready to be a starter.
And then here's the thing, and this is very unpopular opinion. I don't like either CJ Stroud or Bryce Young.
Ooh,
starting.
Matt, hey, I wish my soundboard. Well, I think my soundboard is working, but I'm not gonna worry about it right now.
A lot of people are high on them. People get they get these lofty, oh, they did this and that. Man, hey, man, that's college football. I watch film. Now, granted, Tristan's not with us tonight. He studies the quarterbacks, but I'm not impressed with anybody in this quarterback class starting year one. And that's an unpopular opinion, but you know me, I wish he would say popular opinions. Well, crap in one hand and wish the other and see which one fills up first. But I don't care. I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. I don't like these quarterbacks to start year one. Now, could they turn out to be monsters in the future? Yes, there's a possibility. But I don't like none of them starting year one. Not one of them on this board. Not one. That's just what it is.
Wow. All right. Well, y'all heard it from Eric, man. Eric came out with a very unpopular opinion on the quarterback situation in the NFL. Because Bryce Young and CJ Stroud's getting a lot of love. I think CJ Stroud might end up going not first overall to Chicago, but he might be the first quarterback taken off the board.
Yeah, I think Chicago is happy with
Justin
Fields. I think they're happy with Fields. I think he's still reaching to his next level of development. And I think they might trade that pick. Because they know there's somebody that's gonna go up there and reach for Stroud or Bryce Young. They're gonna. I think that's a mistake. Unless you are planning on drafting Bryce Young or CJ Stroud to sit them and make them learn.
And I doubt it. I doubt that happened. Matter of fact, I think Tristan said that CJ Stroud might be the most pro-ready quarterback out of all of them.
And I cut the deck on that. But again, Tristan, I'm gonna trust Tristan because he does quarterbacks. But I'm not impressed. I'm really not impressed.
And think about it, just because he's the most pro-ready quarterback in the draft class doesn't truly mean he's pro-ready.
And then also with Bryce Young, I just don't trust. There's two schools I don't trust seriously. They get a lot of hype. Their quarterbacks get a lot of hype, and I don't trust them in the league. Oklahoma and Alabama.
Actually, for real, I don't really like too many Ohio State quarterbacks either. When the last time Ohio State quarterback really dominated anything in the NFL?
And that's probably my third school. And I know somebody's probably going to say Jalen Hurts, but yeah, it took a minute for Jalen Hurts to play on the level he's playing right now.
Yeah.
So this is year 3 for Jalen Hurts?
Yeah, this is year 3, and a lot of this development happened in the NFL. That was nothing college related.
Yeah, case in point. So
because I'm telling you, people don't know how bad Jalen Hurts was until this year. Okay,
I mean, we did our preseason this time last year. We were talking about, man, we ain't thinking about Philly because Jalen Hurts, and then Jalen Hurts bust out, and we was like, oh, well, we apologize.
Yeah, because
but it took year 3.
His rookie year, when he finally got out there, and he played Dallas. Dallas was like, oh, we're going to put a spy on you and we're going to shut you down. And they shut him down. And then last year, Jalen Hurts threw about 2 or 3 interceptions combined in 2 games to Trayvon Diggs. So, yeah, it was a wrap at those first 2 years. So, whatever Jalen Hurts has done this past season, has nothing to do with college football. Trust me.
So, I don't trust quarterbacks from Oklahoma, Alabama, and then probably
Ohio State. As a matter of fact, Nick Saban benched Jalen Hurts because of his poor performance in the national championship.
And who did he bench him for?
Tua Tagovailoa. And the thing is, Saban admitted saying, "Hey, it was not an emotional decision. I was thinking about that leading into the game. If Jalen Hurts was going to struggle, we was going to bench him and go with Tua. So." And I trust Nick Saban. So I'm not saying Nick Saban's a quarterback expert, but if he's trying to win a championship, hey.
All right, yeah, we got time for a couple of more comments before we shut it down for the night. Thank y'all for your comments. This is great because you've given us feeling. We hadn't even talked about Lamar Jackson yet. Jesus. About the deal in Baltimore and the fallout from that, and we ain't even got to that. that was going to be on the docket, but you guys have been coming with some awesome comments and questions.
Well, I'll tell you what. Then
And
I'll tell you what. Why don't we do this? Why don't we finish off with Lamar Jackson?
okay,
Let's do that. All right. So Lamar Jackson got the franchise tag. Okay. The franchise tag, and I'm gonna give y'all all the details. The franchise tag is called the non. There's two different franchise tags. There's a non-exclusive franchise tag and there's an exclusive franchise tag. So he got the non-exclusive franchise tag. So let's focus on that. The non-exclusive franchise tag, first of all, is $32 million. It's not the $45 million one. What happens with this is, and nothing can happen until March 15th after 4 p.m. So we have, well, today's over with. So we have 7 days until this can happen. Teams can start giving Lamar Jackson an offer sheet, which is a contract. Okay. Lamar Jackson looks at him. If he likes one, he can send it to the Baltimore Ravens front office. The Ravens front office looks at it. If they want to match it, they will sit there and say match, and they will keep Lamar Jackson. If they decide not to match it, the other team will get him, and they will lose. That team that gets him lose 2 first-round picks. So it's a first-round pick this year in 2023 and a first-round pick in 2024. So now, like I said, no one can start negotiating until March 15th after 4 p.m. So Eric, and then there were 5 teams who immediately said they were not interested.
yes, sir. I was going to get
bringing
to
him in, and let me bring that up because I have that tweet of the 5 teams. Give me a second. Here we go. The Atlanta Falcons, which I was surprised because
that was a shocker.
I heard rumors. All I heard was rumors saying Atlanta. So if Atlanta really stands by this, that means they really must love Desmond Ridder. Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins must be still strong on Tua Tagovailoa. And actually, honestly, you don't want to go back. You don't want to the way you mistreated Tua Tagovailoa, you owe him anyway. You kind of owe him anyway.
Well, the concern is really his health more than anything.
Yeah,
3
really
concussions in 1 year is 3 concussions in 1 year is frightening.
Yeah, it is.
It's frightening. So I don't know. They need some kind of a contingency plan.
Yeah. Carolina saying no was a shocker to me because, I mean, Sam Darnold is no longer even a starting quarterback. He's a backup for the rest of his career. Baker Mayfield is also a backup for the rest of his career. So they could have used Lamar Jackson. Washington Commanders could have used Lamar Jackson, but they must be sold on Sam Howell right now. And then the Raiders. Raiders again need a quarterback, but I don't know. Maybe Jimmy G might end up being a quarterback. So
I think it's the what they have to give up to get him that's really turning a lot of teams off. I think that's what it is. It's like 1, the salary that they're going to have to pay him long term, and then 2, the capital that they have to give up in trade. And I think that's a major part of why a lot of teams like, yeah, I'm out.
So let me ask you a question. Is it going to be harder to trade certain quarterbacks in the NFL or whatever, move on? I don't want to say move on because you can release a quarterback. But what's up with the quarterback? But I don't even know how to phrase this question because when it comes to quarterback, you pay him, but then you don't have as much salary cap space to keep certain core players.
That's the conundrum.
But
and the market keeps going up.
See, that's the thing. The market keeps going up. Because even though what's his name, Derek Carr didn't sign for much, and neither did Geno Smith. I think that's more of a blip more than a trend.
Mm-hmm.
So next year, or even whenever Joe Burrow gets this extension,
oh boy,
I think that's going to be $48 million,
If not,
or more.
yeah.
When Jalen Hurts gets his extension, matter of fact, Jalen Hurts' extension should be happening this offseason because you don't want Jalen Hurts going into his final year of rookie contract. Just sitting on the final year of the rookie contract. You want to give the man his money. So,
Or they gonna sit on him like they did, like Baltimore did.
You better not. You better.
Well,
actually, to be honest with you, damn. See now you make me want to shift the conversation to Jalen Hurts. But Joe Burrow and Jalen Hurts are going to get paid $48 million or more.
Yes, sir.
The question is, who's going to do it? I think Joe Burrow stays in Cincinnati.
Oh yeah, they're gonna find a way to pay him.
What do you think Philadelphia going to do with Jalen Hurts? Let's talk about Jalen Hurts too. Then
I think if he's able to do anything remotely close to what he did this year, he doesn't have to duplicate that.
So
if he's relatively close in performance to what he did this year, where he's an MVP candidate, and maybe they don't make it to the Super Bowl, but they make a strong showing in the playoffs. Because let's be honest, Philadelphia's defense lost that game. Jalen Hurts did everything he could.
That is so true. So basically, you tell me that you're going to keep Jalen Hurts on the final year of his rookie contract versus giving him an extension this offseason.
No, I think he's warranted an extension. Now, a shrewd businessman is going to say, no, he needs to show me he can do it again.
I agree. Be honest with you, I agree.
When you take the emotions out of it and looking from the business aspect of it, if I'm a GM, I'm like, okay, you need to show me that one more time. Or even, you don't have to show me exactly that. Show me close to that.
I agree.
Yeah. So let's say Jalen Hurts comes out this next year coming with a depleted roster because they about to lose some players. If he goes out there with a depleted roster and at least gets them back into the playoffs and wins a game or two in the playoffs, then he deserves that money.
Okay.
Even the shrewdest of businessman can't sit up there and go like, well, no, pay him.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So going back to Lamar Jackson. Is it so hard to move him or try to acquire him? Because like I said, the picks you got to give up and the money got to give up. Because you got to remember, and I know it was a rookie contract, but you got to remember, RG, at the time, the Redskins gave up 3 first-round picks and a second-round pick for RG3.
Mm-hmm.
So a more established quarterback, Lamar Jackson, why is it so hard to pay him the money and give up 2 first-round picks?
I think that a lot of it has to do with there aren't that many quarterback-starved teams left in the league anymore, and then you have a plethora of draft prospects, and then you have some veteran quarterbacks who can bridge you to those guys that you draft. So
I guess you're right.
And you look at that from the financial side of it and the draft pick side of it, the capital that you'd have to give, and then also in salaries, you come out cheaper. And the same thing is going to my Houston. It's just an example, but you come out cheaper, go and get you a bridge veteran, draft you a guy this year, and let that young guy take over in a couple of years. At the end of the day, you come out cheaper and you can still fill your roster.
Yeah.
To be competitive.
Right.
So I think that's why a lot of teams, this is just my thoughts, but I think that's why a lot of teams balked and was like, oh, you know what, I'm out. We're going to figure this out another way. Baltimore, you got it. Like that. So I think that's what the reason why a lot of teams who are in kind of backed out. So yeah. So I think that's a large part of it.
Man, so what does that mean for quarterbacks moving forward? Because I mean, Joe Burrow probably, like I said, probably get paid. You think that Jalen Hurts, and I agree with you, Jalen Hurts should show again that he can do it, because you know how I said having tape on Geno Smith and Daniel Jones, people have tape on Jalen Hurts now.
Yes, sir.
And that was a very successful read option team when it comes to running the ball. That was a very successful RPO team, but we have film on you now. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I've learned, and this is me personally, I have learned recently on how to shut down some of those RPOs that Philadelphia runs, especially out of certain formations. So there's resources out there to handle Philadelphia's offense. You just got to find it, and or you got to come up with your own way of shutting it down. So there's a possibility, and I know no one's thinking about this, but this is unpopular opinion. Jalen Hurts could take a step back this year as well.
He could. He could. He could show us that this year
really take a step back.
Yeah, he could have showed us that this past year was a fluke, or he could show us, no, y'all, I'm here.
Yeah,
he really could. He could go either way. He could really be like, because I'm gonna tell you now, if he's able to have a good season, because this roster, unless Philly does something dramatic, this roster is not going to be as good as it was this year.
Exactly.
And if he's able to keep them as a contender or a playoff team, then that's, hey man, he said, I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. Last year was not a fluke. I'm here, doctor. So he's still gonna have AJ Brown. He's still gonna have
Devontae Smith and Dallas
Goedert. And in that offense, you can get any running backs, but he's gonna still have a few of those running backs anyway. So yeah, man, we're gonna see. And we got into a Jalen Hurts conversation, just branching off of the Lamar Jackson. So let's talk about Lamar Jackson and his future in Baltimore, because obviously he's gonna be there this year. What does the future hold after this season for Lamar Jackson?
So if Lamar Jackson doesn't get moved, he's still going. And if let's just say he's still sitting on that franchise tag, he still wants his contract. The only my fear now is what's going to happen. Let's say he gets hurt again, and maybe that's the reason why teams might have also backed down from Lamar Jackson, because he's been hurt off and on in his career. And Lamar,
I blame Greg Roman for that, but
yeah. Lamar, hold on, let me see something about Lamar Jackson real quick. Lamar Jackson is.
So while you're looking that up, here's another thing to consider as well.
But he's not small. I thought Lamar was small. He's
Tyler Huntley, his backup, who's a pretty decent backup, is a free agent.
He's a restricted free agent.
But do you think they're gonna still bring him back if with Lamar getting paid all that money?
They can, and here's the reason why. Restricted free agents really not gonna get paid a whole lot. I mean, they get paid, but okay, let's cover that, because first of all, going back to Lamar Jackson, I thought Lamar was smaller than what he looks, but he's 230, so it's not that bad. That's a great look at Huntley. What was it about Huntley? Huntley is a restricted free agent.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know what I want to see. What's his first name?
Who? Tyler?
Yeah, Tyler. Thank you, Tyler Huntley. Okay, so Tyler Huntley was drafted. Wait, round. He was a rookie free agent. Okay, so as a restricted free agent, which he is, there are 3 ways you can tender him or not tender him at all, which will in turn make him a unrestricted free agent. You can give him what is called the original tender, and the original tender means that whatever round you drafted, if a team it's like the franchise tag, if a team signs you and the Ravens refuse to match the offer, they would have to give up a draft pick. Now, because he wasn't drafted, I don't even know what draft pick you have to give up. That's interesting. I'm about to look that up one day. But the original tender, that 1-year contract is probably about $2 or $3 million. you can give him the second round tender, which means the team will give up a second round pick if they were to acquire and Baltimore don't match. That's like 4 point something million dollars. And then the first round tender is like 6 point something million dollars, same rules. So you can keep Huntley for either $6 million, $4 million, or maybe $2 or $3 million. So that's not an expensive backup at all. And you may need him since Lamar Jackson kind of gets hurt. I'm not calling him injury prone, but it's just he does get hurt.
Yeah, I think excuse me. I think that he's that kind of I don't think that's the determining factor, but I do think that part of that plays into, like, we got to pay him this much money, give up this much capital,
and he gets hurt.
And he's got injury issues.
And also, we don't know what kind of pocket passing quarterback he is because he runs around so much. Now, again, that's on Greg Roman for not doing more with him than he should have. But so maybe that's the reason why teams are saying no. I know people are upset because he's been an MVP. He has a great win percentage record. And stuff like that, but he does come with some question marks. So, people do need to be fair about what's going on with Lamar Jackson. But I will say this: if you do move on from Lamar Jackson, Baltimore, you should go into rebuild mode because you don't have much of anything else. You're going to have 2 first-round picks this year if you move on from Lamar Jackson, 2 first-round picks next year. You got 3 contracts that you can get out of. Left tackle Ronnie Stanley, cornerback Marlon Humphrey, and tight end Mark Andrews. And if you lose Lamar Jackson, there's no need to keep those 3 guys. You just should go into full rebuild mode.
Fire sale.
Next year, trade those 3 guys, get some draft picks for 2024. You have 2 first-round picks, and whatever draft picks you get out for those 3 guys, you can rebuild your team sooner rather than later.
Well, we're going to see what Ozzie Newsome is going to do.
Nope. Wrong one.
Well, he still has, according to some of Ravens fans, he still has input.
Eric DeCosta. And you heard me say it in the group chat. I wonder about Eric DeCosta because that Ravens defense, like, it has names and it's okay at times, but under Ozzie, that defense was legit.
Yeah.
That defense was legit. And
no argument
me
for me
personally, Ravens fans, sorry, not sorry, but I question your general manager. I question your general manager. Both, not both. Unpopular opinion. I do question your general manager. So I make 2 unpopular opinions. I don't care.
Nah, I'm waiting for people outside my house with pitchforks and torches when I said that I don't like none of these quarterbacks in the draft.
Hey, you know what? hey, I might have guys marching down Interstate 95 from both Baltimore and Philadelphia about Eric DeCosta and Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, you out there by them people. They gonna be like,
oh yeah, look. Baltimore is about 35 miles from me. Philadelphia, about 2.5 hours from me. So
they gonna get in the car for you, dog.
I know they are.
Okay, so I guess we can kind of wrap it. We can
wrap it. We can talk. I'll tell Ravens fan we can talk. I can tell Eagles. Well, I don't want to talk Eagles fans. I can't stand Eagles fans. That's a whole different story. Anyway, so ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, thank you for participating in the show. The show was hot. It was fire. Next week, oh my goodness, Eric, let me tell you about next week, man. If I haven't told you,
what's going on next week, Brandon?
Next week is going to be hot. Why? Because the rest of this week, we're going to have more releases and we're going to have probably some restructured contracts. We're going to have some contract extensions to lower some cap hits. I already know of one. And next Monday, March 13th, 2023, you can start legal tampering period. which means free agency signings.
That's when it gets fun.
Now, no contracts become official until the 15th, but 9 out of 10 times those guys do sign with those teams. So I'm expecting a lot between now and the next time we go live next week, next Tuesday at 9 p.m. So, like I said, restructure contracts, contract extensions, releases, trades, signings. Free agency is about to start. It is about to be crazy. Last year we went live twice. It was Tuesday and Thursday. Not sure if we're gonna do it, but if we do, we will definitely let you know. We will let you know. That's why you need to hit that notification bell and then put all so that way you know when we're going live. For this show, please hit the thumbs up like button. That gets the algorithm going and lets people know that, hey, Just a Fan podcast do exist. If you love us, please do so. It doesn't cost you a thing. Just like J-Lo said, my love don't cost a thing. This don't cost a thing. E?
I'm going to tell y'all like this. I love how the people come in and comment, and the great comments, great questions keeps the show going. Next thing I need y'all to do, because most of the people who are on here have subscribed, which is fantastic. Tell a friend.
Share.
Have them subscribe. Share. It's like, hey, man, I found a great podcast. These guys are nuts. One of them is a part-time stripper. He never on there. Steve, you need to come back on the show. Get off the pole. I know it's good money, but all money ain't good money. Don't let the money make you. You make the money. Okay? But, you know, you got these guys. They talk about NFL stuff, man. Check them out, man. They funny, man. So tell a friend about us and, you know, have them subscribe to Just a Fan podcast. If you like the NFL football, we love to talk about NFL football. We don't take any days off. There are no days off for us. The NFL is year round for us on Just a Fan podcast. So if you're an NFL junkie or you know somebody who's an NFL junkie, make sure that you direct them to our page on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, and tune in for our shows, man, and interact with us. We love having interaction with the fans, and check us out, man. Come become a regular subscriber.
Yes. So please, you are able to share this on Facebook with your people. You're able to share this from YouTube with people you know. On Twitter side right now, you can retweet. You can retweet, quote tweet it. Like I said, just let people know, regardless if they love football or not, because they can learn. They can learn something if they don't know anything about football. But anyway, right that direction. That's Pando 316, the defensive vocal leader, hardest hitter. I am the NFL Encyclopedia, the Wildcat quarterback that runs this thing, Coach Williams. Hopefully next week, guys, all four of us will be on, but we'll find out.
Steve got to come out the strip club, man. You got to stop dancing, man. Dancing for them dollars, man. I know the women throwing the, you know, I heard on Black History Month he had a kente cloth thing he was out there dancing with. I said, hey, man, we got to be on the show, man. He's like, I got to do this for the ancestors, man. I was like, no, man. Steve gonna want to fight me after this. All right, thank you and good night from Just a Fan podcast.
Oh, God, y'all. Peace. Peace, 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 peace.